Story 1. I don't know about scared, but I am dreading it. I am completely out of work, and unemployment has been enough to cover all my needs. I am completely unable to hide from the realization that I can't just put up with my job anymore. I genuinely hate what I do or did for a living. I am safe at home with my wife and dog, and I am honestly happier than I have been in a very long time. Right now, from the comfort of my couch, I can just observe those feelings and passively accept them. Returning to normal life will mean having to confront those feelings and do something about my situation. Story 2. In all honesty, I've really enjoyed it. I've worked throughout, but at a steadier pace. I spent more time with my family, and there's less nonsense to deal with. So far, I found it to be a great time for reflecting and making positive change all around. I'm more concerned about how quickly it will go back to how it was, and all the toxic things we do as people will resume once more. This can be a time for great change. It would be a shame to pass it up. Story 3. I've been loving working from home. I had a kid not too long ago, and my vacation time to spend with him was simply extended. I was working from home a month before isolation, so I've had nearly all of the first 3 months with this little guy so far. Story 4. I wouldn't say that I'm afraid so much as that I feel cautious, and I feel a little bit duty-bound to continue to practice good social distancing measures. My state just gave the go-ahead on a few more business types. But to be honest, I have a home office, I have a home gym, and I have no real reason to leave unless for groceries, which are currently well-stocked. I think I'm just going to take the wait-and-see approach, as I anticipate opening for business may yet result in a second wave. And I'm not exactly pushing the issue with my boss about getting me back into the office soon. Story 5. I feel the same way. I have social anxiety as it is, but daily exposure to new people keeps me under control. Not integrating myself into society daily like I was before is making it come back. When I leave my house for a walk and people walk in my direction, I start to get upset. I feel like many of us are going to be dealing with some agoraphobia and social anxiety for the first few weeks of society opening back up. Story 6. I like not having to commute. I'm still working as I am in information technology, so I work remotely. I dislike not being able to eat out or go to the movies. Also, we are empty nesters, except that the college kids are all back right now. I love my kids, and I'm glad to see them. I know they didn't want college to turn into remote learning back at home like it was still high school. They are missing out on college activities and missing their college friends, and school is harder when you can't just go to the professor's office and get help face-to-face. Story 7. I'm more upset about the fact that I'll have to pay £200 a month to get to work and spend 2 hours a day commuting with a job which I can do from home perfectly fine. Not looking forward to that at all. Story 8. I'm cool with quarantine. I miss the gym and jiu-jitsu. Other than that, no complaints here. I don't miss waking up early for my hour commute. I don't miss the horrible traffic driving home. I am nervous to just jump back into regular life since the media has done a pretty good job of driving up fear levels. Story 9. Yeah, a little bit, mate, but although it's scary, I remember how positive, motivating, driven, and on my purpose I was when I was living that normal routine. Now that I have time, I'm doing everything I can want to, of course, but I personally have problems with being disciplined. For example, although 30 minutes a day of playing my piano seems too easy to do, simply having 24 hours in the day to do whatever I want, I often push those 30 minutes back. I keep pushing it back until it becomes midnight, and why would I want to play at midnight and disturb everyone else's sleep? I do this consistently. While I was working and going to school, I was waking up at 7 o'clock every day, doing my 8 hours at my job, going to the gym, coming back, spending an hour reading, and then some time on my piano before playing Call of Duty until it's time for bed. Sounds very robotic and brainwashed to some, but it helped me personally, and I crave that again. Took me a while to adapt to that, maybe around 2 to 3 months, but it only took 2 weeks to go from waking up every morning at 7 a.m. to sleeping anywhere between 3:30 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. Story 10. Yeah, I was already starting to turn inwards at work, and this has been nice. Just chilling at home, still working the same amount, several very on, and several off hours watching my wife play Animal Crossing. More friends are available online, which is where I usually am anyway. I do miss delivery, the park, and grocery shopping, though. and looking forward to continuing our plans to move. Story 11. I am at the point where I cannot imagine a return to pre-COVID routine, work-wise. I can probably meet them somewhere halfway, 2 days a week in the office maybe. But my days are a minimum of 1.5 hours longer now because of the removal of my commute, and gas has been completely removed from my expenses. Car insurance costs over time would also represent a sizable savings. This is not even factoring in hard-to-quantify stuff like dealing with people I do not like. I cannot willingly return to that worse quality of life for no reason. Story 12. I understand what you mean. I think everyone will have to consider for themselves what they feel comfortable doing. Certainly, there's no harm in avoiding large gatherings and taking some extra precautions for a while, especially until we can see if reopening causes cases to increase again. Story 13. I'm not going back. Forget that stinky, loud, fluorescent-lit, disease-ridden hellhole. At my job, we have proven we can work remotely. If they require me to be on site, I'll find a job that doesn't. Story 14. Right? Honestly, this has been the most stress-free I've ever been. Not worrying about my commute, not needing to interact with people I don't like, seeing all my neighbors actually come outside for walks in our beautiful neighborhood. I don't know how we're going to do this. I almost don't want it to stop. Story 15. Nope. I'm an essential worker at a place that has more or less been closed down. My job went from frequently pull your hair out busy to nothing to do. I also haven't seen my family in 2 months, and my Dungeons and Dragons campaign has been on hiatus since February. I'm anxious for things to get back to normal, even though I don't think we should return to normal yet. Story 16. I guess this is not really relevant as I am in the opposite position, but I am sharing it anyway. My ex broke up with me a month before the lockdown was imposed, and it was awful for me because I was finally ready to get up, stop feeling sorry for myself, finish my education, and go out into the field. Then I got fired, and my mom started panicking and wanted us all back home. My life consists of trying to fight back thoughts of the good times I had with my ex, trying not to hate her, mourning all the work I put in to ensure I would be ahead of my peers when I was finally ready to work full-time, and playing video games to distract myself from the reality that I am totally miserable. So I am desperately hoping that the virus magically disappears overnight, so I can go back to feeling like I am doing something with my life instead of being a sorry person no one wants to be around. Story 17. No, I cannot wait to get back to normal. This whole thing is terrible. I cannot see my friends. I cannot see my family. Trying to work from home while simultaneously entertaining and educating my kids is stressful as well. My daughter, who previously loved going to school every day, hates doing school stuff at home. Nothing about this stay-at-home situation is better than normal life. Story 18. It's going to be interesting hearing doctors try to make up excuses for my patients needing to see them face-to-face for checkups after doing the same things over the phone this whole time. Also, office workers who have been working from home. I'm looking forward to hearing them explain why this exact thing was impossible only a year ago but now is perfectly okay. Story 19. I am looking forward to it. Event coordination is a big part of my job, and I have had nothing to do on that front for months. I miss seeing my friends, and I miss doing things. Journaling has helped me from going too stir-crazy. Spending all the time alone with my thoughts has made room for a lot of bad memories and personal insecurities to creep back in, and it helps to get some of these thoughts down on paper as I work my way through them. I have enjoyed the opportunity to rediscover some old hobbies and appreciate the world slowing down for a bit. But I certainly thrive when I am able to be among people. However, what I am indeed concerned about is that readjustment period. I have a looming feeling that there will be a lot of unintended, undetected consequences of just getting back to the old routine. Story 20. I can't wait to get out and hit darts at bars with friends, go to the pool hall, go on dates with nice ladies, and travel the world. I've always hated being stuck inside. Story 21. I enjoy not having to pay for the bus to work every day and it being empty. That's about the only thing I enjoy about this pandemic. I don't miss the crowded bus after work smelling like body odor and having to stand if you can't find a seat after an 8 to 14-hour shift. Story 22. I think the key is not to go from one extreme to the other. I would still exercise caution and minimize non-essential trips. Just because restrictions are eased does not mean the virus has vanished. Remember, it is a whole new world for everyone else too. You have not forgotten how to be a good person and a caring friend. Story 23. I'm dreading having to return to the office for work. Being in isolation made me realize it wasn't my job that I hate. It's the people. Working from home got me away from all the egos and unnecessary flattery and the politics of climbing the corporate ladder. I'll be genuinely sad when things go back to normal. Story 24. My friend and I were speaking about this yesterday. I can't think of anything worse than things going back to how they were. This time off has made me realize how genuinely miserable my life is made by work. It's work. That's all it is. Depression and anxiety are manageable without work hanging over your head and knowing you have to show up and please people you don't get along with, who are making no effort to meet you halfway in anything. Waking up at a reasonable time, having time to eat breakfast, time to work out, properly wash and clean, cook actual meals, and enjoy an hour of exercise or sun a day is taking so much weight off my shoulders. It's peaceful. It's essential. We're being starved as a people of the things that keep us in check. It's not us. It's not your guilty pleasures. It's work. Too much of it. We spend too long working and traveling and not enough time just being. The travel to and from work would stress me out, even on the way back from a monk sanctuary, let alone somewhere I hate being. Add this to never getting a chance to step away from it, and it builds up inside until I just feel like a ball of anxiety. I'm going to have to actually find something else to do after this because the 60-plus hour weeks I was doing before are beyond a horrible existence. It literally takes hard work and dedication to get your life into a position where it's so bad. The world is run by greed, and the greedy will see us all drop dead before they think about what they've done. Time to stop wishing on a star and hoping for good in a world that's run by evil. Story 25. Totally. It might sound morbid to say, but coronavirus might be the best thing that's ever happened to me. I was miserable at work, overweight, and depressed. Virtually overnight, I got a huge raise in the form of unemployment benefits and food stamps. I don't have to go to work anymore. I'm losing weight and getting in shape. I spend more time talking with my friends, and now I have hobbies and interests. I just didn't have time for any of this stuff before. I was stuck working 40 to 60 hours a week. Who knew life could be so rich and full of wonder? Coronavirus must be what it's like to be a rich person. Story 26. I don't feel like I want to shake people's hands ever again. I'm by no means a germaphobe, and I never really liked shaking hands in the first place before this all happened. Also, I really miss the gym and my friends. Still at work though, my 2-hour commute is now 1 hour and 20 minutes, so that's nice. Story 27. I would otherwise be loving isolation, but I am currently the sole source for groceries and supplies for my 98-year-old great-grandma. So I can't really go anywhere besides the store and her front doorstep to minimize my risk of infecting anyone. I worry that I will have some obligation to return to normal and risk jeopardizing her health when, in reality, I will likely have to care for her until she passes away because a nursing home does not seem like a safe option. It is an infection vector, and we do not know how long she has left regardless. I have no clue how I will return to normal. I am a full-time work-from-home employee now, but I doubt that will stay in place once businesses reopen. Story 28. I am definitely dreading the return to normal life. I lost my job a month and a half before quarantine, and the bills were already stacking up as I was trying to find something new. Then COVID-19 and quarantine happened, and many friends, family, neighbors, and citizens are in a similar, financially stressed situation. Selfishly, it makes me feel less bad about losing my job and starting to get behind. I am stressed, you are stressed, we are all stressed. I feel like we are in a fantasy land where it is not quite real life. I wake up with my wife and infant daughter, we have breakfast, I run, we care for our dogs, I play video games, and we video chat with friends and family. It is actually quite a guilt-free way to spend unemployment. I feel like I can defer the unemployment stress for now because we are all in this together. I am not looking forward to everyone going back to work because I am scared that I will not find something, and I will be left behind, with employment being a huge burden and stress again. Story 29. I've seriously considered if continuing this way of life is worth it anymore. I always used to joke about one day buying a tent and a hiking backpack and leaving behind everything. But I don't know anymore. I know that returning to the old way of life is not something that I want to do. I know that I don't want to work for someone else anymore. But I also don't want to be around people anymore. Maybe something is wrong with me. Story 30. We live in Atlanta but temporarily relocated to Charleston to stay with in-laws because they are retired and can help with childcare while we work during the weekdays. We are now considering selling our house and buying a house here because we love the coastal lowcountry vibes. Not exactly what you're talking about, but in a similar vein, this has been a massive change and you should try to find what you like about it and capitalize on it. If you don't want to return to normal life, then maybe you should find a way to change whatever that is for you.